Hello, Internet, and welcome back to the story Nook. Go ahead, grab your water, your tea, your coffee, whatever it is you're wanting to drink as we read today. Today, we are going to be reading more of Villainess Level 99. I may be the hidden boss, but I'm not the Demon Lord. Written by Satori Tanabata and illustrated by T. This is Volume 1. And this is our cast of everybody. Give me a minute to scroll down. And we are going to be on Chapter 2. Last time I read the interlude in the morning, and I'm currently on lunch at work. But Chapter 2 is a hidden boss attends the academy. Make sure that subtitle is up in OBS, making sure it's getting captured. It is. Yay! Chapter 2, the hidden boss attends the academy. In the week since I've been called to the palace, I've become pretty popular at the academy. Even right now, I was being radically flirted with. And that's how we would rule our neighboring nations as colonies. As I said, all you have to do is destroy the opposing nation's armies. As your husband, you can leave all the political stuff to me. Correction, a radical was flirting with me. The boy who was passionately speaking on the wonders of colonialism was the most intense out of all the radicals I've met in the past week, so much so that grouping him together with the others felt like an insult to them. As the queen expected, the day after I had been summoned to the palace, the children of high-ranking aristocrats were lining up to speak with me. Most of the moderates were relatively easy to get along with. The guys greeted me with treats and tried to make small talk while the girls invited me to tea parties. I assumed their goals were to maintain some level of contact, but they never openly discussed any political topics. Once I began interacting with the upper-level students, my fellow first-years who had been avoiding me since the incidents of the previous days slowly began to talk to me. Up until that point, they had apparently thought I was a dangerous person who couldn't be reasoned with. On the other hand, the radicals began aggressively attempting to recruit me. One person tried to give me expensive gemstones, while another asked for my hand in marriage. Naturally, I politely declined both offers. Through Rita came a message from my parents regarding an arranged marriage. The royal decree had only prohibited marriage, not engagement. Of course, my parents included that hair-splitting point in their message as well. I naturally ignored it, but felt sorry for Rita, who was caught in the middle. While speaking with some of the radicals, I came to the understanding that their faction was just made up of a group of people who were unhappy with the way things currently were. It felt like they mostly wanted me to make their house stronger rather than win wars. They were probably only advocating for war in the first place so they could get credit for some accomplishment or obtain a new domain. And at the end of it all, we'll take over the entire continent. Don't you want in on this? His speech finally appeared to be over. He probably introduced himself in the beginning, but he had been talking for so long that I had no idea what his name was. No, thank you. I usually threw in social pleasantries like, that sounds wonderful, and gently turned down the advances by adding, unfortunately, along with some reason to refuse, but I couldn't bring myself to do that with him. It's not a bad deal for you either. I mean, you get to be my wife even though you have black hair. I'll even buy you as many dresses and gemstones as you want. There were condescending people among the moderates and radicals, but he was on another level. He was also the first person to say something discriminatory about black hair to my face. I decided to deliver my finishing blow. I'm only interested in people who are stronger than me. I came up with it a few days ago, and it worked on everyone. It was my ultimate weapon. And by ultimate weapon, every time I hear ultimate, my brain goes, Shadow the Hedgehog. In this day and age, you can't just get by with brute force. What's important is how smart you are. And I'm pretty gifted in that area. Well, it didn't work. And on top of that, his argument was sound. It's kind of pissing me off that he's right. Why is the guy trying to use me as a human weapon, saying something logical? I see. Then I'll make sure to avoid doing anything violent, like going up against armies or suppressing rebels, I countered. As soon as I said I wouldn't fight, he got flustered and panicked about potentially not being able to achieve his goals. People who are only good at fighting like you should mindlessly listen to smart people like me. You say that you're smart, but are you at the top of your class? I asked, slightly sarcastically. That shut him up for a moment. Intelligence can't be determined by test scores, he mumbled. He's still not giving up, huh? Let's try a different approach then. You mentioned taking over the content, but who exactly would be in charge once that happens? Me, of course, he said with a smug look on his face. I'm confident in my governing skills. Governing? So you would rule over the entire continent? Exactly. And that would be possible if you were to become my wife. Ruling over the entire continent means you would be ruling over the royal family, the rulers of this kingdom, correct? What? That would mean you plan to commit treason against the royal family of Valshan. His eyes widened. Wait, no, that's not. According to the laws of this country, I believe treason is punishable by death. My line of questioning led him right into my trap. He became pale and was frantically looking around to see if anyone had been listening in on our conversation. I didn't think he'd fall for it that easily. I'm glad the self-proclaimed genius is actually quite stupid. Don't worry, I'll pretend this conversation never happened. There may be some people who overheard us, though, so it's probably best if you refrain from interacting with me, I said seriously. Otherwise, you may be falsely suspected of something just by being with me. You better not repeat this conversation to anyone, he said, terrified. With that, he ran off down the hallway. He must have bumped into someone when he turned the corner, because I heard a pathetic scream soon after. Now that I've finally gotten rid of that annoyance, I should get back to my dorm, though. Holding up in the library sounds good, too. As I thought about my plans, I ran into a group of female students led by Eleonora Hillrose, the daughter of the premier radical, the Duke of Hillrose. She had blonde ringlets and was adored with a variety of resplendent accessories. Even in uniform, she didn't look anything like a student. Oh, Eumelia, what a coincidence! I was just thinking about how I wanted to speak to you. You have some time right now, don't you? Her ringlets bounced around as she spoke in a tone that insinuated she wouldn't take a no for an answer. It would have been easy to run from her, but I couldn't keep avoiding my classmate. Better to accept my fate now rather than later. I did my best to hide my displeasure as I responded. Yes, I was actually just thinking about what I would do with my spare time. Splendid! We're having a tea party prepared in the parlor. Please join us. Thank you so much for the invitation, Lady Eleonora. We made our way to the academy parlor and we're now chatting with tea in hand. I didn't have much social contact growing up, but I could at least keep up with a simple conversation. But making use of really, that's wonderful, and please tell me more. I was able to keep up with any topic that baffled me, such as dresses or perfumes. In fact, these phrases were how I got through the last week. I only use perfumes from Parfum. Really? I was quite impressed with the founder's vision. That's wonderful. The story of when he created his first perfume is very romantic. Please tell me more. Behold, the three sacred treasures of small talk. Incredible. I barely heard a thing she was saying, but a perfectly acceptable conversation was taking place. Did she really invite me just to chit-chat? I stared intently at Eleonora as she continued talking with her long blonde ringlets and entourage surrounding her. Eleonora looked much more like a villainess than I did. I would have loved to loudly point out this casting error. There was no end in sight to the current topic. That is, until one member of her entourage whispered something into Eleanor's ear. She immediately stopped talking about perfume, and a serious expression came over her face. Looks like we're finally getting to the main purpose of this invite. Eumelia, you must give up on getting with Sir Edwin. Are you talking about Prince Edwin? Who else? If you give up, I will allow you to join my faction. A puzzled look came over my face. I had no idea what she could be talking about. Don't play dumb, Eleanor exclaimed. I know that His Majesty proposed that you get engaged to Sir Edwin. You aren't worthy of him. If you don't concede, you'll be making an enemy of me. I think you should be having this conversation with Miss Heroine, not me. I hadn't spoken to Alicia directly yet, but every time we made eye contact, she would glare at me as if she was trying to shoot me in her mind. Even though she hated me, I had no recollection of doing anything to make her despise me. The whole situation was baffling, but unfortunately I ended up speaking to the love interest as the entrance ceremony, so my grand plan to avoid the game characters as much as possible had essentially already failed. I should probably focus on clearing up this misunderstanding with Eleonora. I opened my mouth hesitantly. Regarding the engagement to His Highness, I have already told His Majesty that I respectfully declined his offer. You're lying. After your audience to the palace, you met up with the Queen, didn't you? You must have told her that you wanted to marry Sir Edwin. No, I did not. As proof, it's been 1 week and there hasn't been anything announced. I haven't even spoken to His Highness. The last part was a lie. A few days after my audience, I had spoken with Prince Edwin just once. Accompanied by William and Oswald, he begrudgingly apologized and left before I could say a word. Bringing that up would only make things more complicated, so she doesn't need to know that small detail. After a pause, Eleanor spoke again. That's true, you do seem to know your place. Very well. If you vow to stay away from Sir Edwin, I will allow you to join my faction. Eleanor seemed to be easily convinced, so now all that was left was turning down the invitation to her faction. That sounds wonderful, but I would like to respectfully decline this offer. She looked at me in disbelief. Why? Why? Impossible. You're just pretending to be uninterested in so that you can still go after Sir Edwin, aren't you? Jeez, what's her problem? She's so annoying. According to her, marrying the prince and joining the Duke's faction were of equal value. I don't want to do either. What a pain. I believe there are people much better suited for Prince Edwin than I am. I think you and His Highness would make a lovely couple, Lady Eleonora. Well, you certainly have good judgment. In fact, I have danced with Sir Edwin on multiple occasions. Each time he's been absolutely wonderful, and my completely disingenuous flattery immediately put her in a good mood, prompting her to endlessly list all of Prince Edward's wonderful qualities. It appeared as though she really was in love with the prince. She hadn't approached me because of her family, it was simply because of her crush on the prince. Well, that was easy. Sorry for calling you a pain. I continued to listen to Eleanor's rambling about Prince Edwin, and the tea party eventually came to an end. With the matter of joining her faction left ambiguous, I ended the day exhausted after dealing with two very intense people. But I hadn't considered the possibility that an even bigger pain could be waiting for me tomorrow. We have a scene cut. Oh. As I was having lunch in the academy dining hall, Alicia, the main character, appeared. Her pink hair swayed adorably with each step she took in her march toward me. When she reached me, Elisa's voice echoed throughout the dining hall as she loudly declared, "You are the resurrected demon lord, Eumelia. I won't lose to you." Everyone in the dining hall, including myself, seemed stumped. How did she know that the demon lord is going to be resurrected? Could she have memories of a past life and knowledge of a game like I do? The resurrection of the Demon Lord was something only a handful of people were supposed to know about. Seeing that we were in a public setting, I pretended to be clueless about it. The resurrected Demon Lord? I looked at her questionably. What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. Ed told me that the Demon Lord will be resurrected in 2 years. Ed. Oh, Prince Edwin. It's only been a week since you met, and you're already using nicknames. Aren't you moving fast? Kind of fast. But that's besides the point. Looks like the idiot prince blabbed about classified national information to Alicia. Do you mean Prince Edwin? Did His Highness say that I am the Demon Lord? No, he didn't. He just said that in 2 years the Demon Lord would be resurrected, and I can tell. You're the Demon Lord, aren't you? Nope, I may be the hidden boss, but I'm not the Demon Lord. The entire dining hall buzzed in response to hearing that the prince said the Demon Lord would be resurrected. Although some people seemed to believe her, most thought Alicia was lying. So I leaned into the cast to cast even more doubt. I have no way of knowing if His Highness really said that, but the resurrection is supposedly happening in 2 years now. Do you have any proof that I'm the Demon Lord? I mean, you have black hair. Only bad people have black hair and use dark magic. Wow, I can't believe that the cheery and optimistic Miss Heroine is a bigot. I intently observed her as she spoke, but she seemed to be completely serious. I guess more than being a bigot, she just can't tell the difference between fiction and reality. In this world, the villains in picture books classically had black hair and used dark magic. They had a similar position to an evil queen in the fairy tale or a man sitting in a large chair stroking a cat on his lap. I think you may be mistaken, I said slowly, denying the accusation once more. We aren't living in a picture book. But Alicia showed no signs of giving up. But you have black hair, and you use dark magic. Those two qualities are only piece of evidence for proving I am the Demon Lord. I was just born this way. I guess the Demon Lord was born that way too, though I'm unsure of the specifics. Both the color of my hair and the element of magic I use are qualities I was born with. Are you implying that I was born evil? Have I been evil since I was an infant? For someone like Alicia, who probably believed that people were born good, this was probably a difficult question to answer. You're going to become evil in 2 years. Do people with black hair become evil as they grow older? If that's the case, shouldn't people with black hair just be killed while they are still infants? She gasped. How could you say something so horrible? Alicia seemed irate by my comment, but she was also saying horrible things. You were the one who brought up black hair being a sign of evil. If you truly believe that I am the Demon Lord, you should show proof of my evil deeds. As expected, she had no proof of any evil deeds. Alicia fell silent, looking down with teary eyes. I haven't done anything illegal. Yet. Wanting to avoid any more trouble, I thought about making my exit, but it seemed that I was too late. The three love interests had entered the dining hall. William, the high-headed swordsman, was the quickest to notice that something had happened here. Hey, you, what are you doing? What did you do to Alicia? If we're being honest, it's more like she did something to me. The other two followed, immediately checking if Alicia was okay. Now that we're here, there's nothing to worry about, Alicia, Oswald consoled her. The trio had been in low spirits after the incidents on the first day of classes, but Alicia had apparently cheered them up. They still avoided me over the past week, but seemed to be back to their usual selves. She was making preposterous claims, saying the Demon Lord is going to be resurrected, and that I am the Demon Lord. I merely denied those claims. The resurrection of the Demon Lord was to be kept under wraps. Even though Alicia said she had heard it from the prince, everyone would believe him if he denied it. Come on, just say that the stuff about the Demon Lord is nonsense. It is true that the Demon Lord will be resurrected in 2 years, though it's something only a few know about. There was an uproar of confusion at the bombshell the idiot prince had just dropped. Why would you admit it if you know that it's something only a few people are aware of? William and Oswald appeared to be unfazed by this information, likely having already heard it from Prince Edwin. I see. So you're the Demon Lord. The prince seemed convinced of Alicia's claims. As a member of the royal family of the Kingdom of Ashland, I won't let you have your way with this country, he declared, pointing his finger at me. How was it possible that the idiot prince was pulling something like this again? I pressed the wrong button. I don't think he was this senseless in the game, though. Was he okay? No, I'm not, I denied again. Isn't the Demon Lord supposed to be resurrected in 2 years? I'm here now, so how could I be the Demon Lord? You're probably going to commit acts of evil in the future. You can't fool me. And we have an illustration. We haven't had one in a minute. So we have the prince, our hot-headed sword fighter, our magic dude, Oswald, and Alicia. And our completely unfazed Yumilia, who's just like, please shut the fuck up and leave me alone. She's just like, I just want to eat my snack, y'all. That's all. Hopefully she'll actually be able to eat her lunch in peace soon, but we all know how idiots can be. The prince had developed a theory similar to one Alicia had earlier. Perhaps their similar thought processes were what led them to become friends. I sighed before responding. This country doesn't have any laws to try someone for future crimes, does it? It would be a different story if you uncovered a criminal plan of some sort. Don't try to muddle things with your technicalities. I'll punish you myself, William exclaimed, visibly irritated. William drew his sword, causing screams to erupt around us. Do you really think you can win against me? I wonder if he already forgot that I had sent him flying across a room the other day. Oh, shoot. That kind of sounded like something a hidden boss would say. William must have also recalled the events of the first swordsmanship class because he stilled and didn't try to attack. I gave up trying to reason with the two idiots and decided to ask Oswald instead. Just to confirm, do you actually think that I'm the Demon Lord? If that's what Alicia claims, I will believe her. I guess cool type glasses guys aren't smart after all. Why does she have to hold such a hold on you? When I lost my confidence and I felt like I had no magical talent, he continued, Alicia cheered me up. I want to believe her. In the game, he was a gifted mage, but was self-conscious about being physically weak. Alicia comforted him by saying he could just work on his strengths, or something like that. In Oswald's eyes, I was someone who not only had more physical capabilities, but who also surpassed him in the skill he prided himself on the most. Magic. I get why he hates me so much, but I really think it's just because I'm a way higher level than him. I thought that Alicia was quick to get the love interest to fall for her, but I realized then that it had been the adversity, in other words, me, that caused the expedited feelings. Your strength would also make more sense if you were the Demon Lord. Actually, never mind. I can't argue with that when I pride myself on being stronger than the Demon Lord. I see. Well, I'll be excusing myself now. I felt that continuing this banter would be pointless and tried to leave. Hold up. Do you think you can just run from us? The prince spoke as if to stop me, but didn't actually move closer to me. The other love interests were equally frozen, so I decided to ignore them and make my exit, but then Alicia stood in front of me and blocked my path. Is she brave or just reckless? Don't run away. I sighed. If I actually was the Demon Lord, what were you planning to do about it? Are you going to kill me? If that's the case, I will resist you with everything I have. I moved close to Alicia's face while I spoke, causing her to yelp and step back. You and those three over there are too weak. If you want to take down the Demon Lord, you'll need to become much stronger. I need them to become stronger so that they can defeat the real Demon Lord. I won't lose. I'll become stronger without using evil methods like you did. I've raised my brows. Evil methods? Ed, Will, and Oz all said that you have done something evil to get so strong. If defeating monsters is bad, then I guess they're right. I turned to the trio. Is that your excuse for losing to me? They all attempted to refute my statement at once, but couldn't seem to find the words. I guess I hit the nail on the head. I'm sure you guys have the necessary technical skills, so work hard on leveling up. I've heard that the Demon Lord uses dark magic, so Alicia should work on her light magic as well, I advised them. Once again, I turned to leave the dining hall when I was plagued with a passing thought. Hold on. Was it really okay for me, humiliate Dogness, to simply tell them to work hard on leveling up, and leave it at that? As a self-proclaimed grinding master, shouldn't I be passing on my vast knowledge about leveling? It might even give them a better impression of me. Alicia and the others looked confused as I stood in place. Not making my exit, Prince Edwin was the first to speak up. Hey, what's wrong? Do you have something you want to say to us? I do. I'm going to teach you the basics of level grinding. What are you talking about? I began to explain the basics of level grinding to the scared group with an intentionally louder voice that the other students so that the other students of the academy who were trying to eavesdrop could listen in. I gave them all of my tips. Throw away the amulet of protection, carry an amulet of growth, play a monster summoning flute as loud as possible, and go solo for maximum efficiency. Alicia, who can use light magic, should train in a dark-type dungeon. Monsters specializing in defense can be defeated quicker than those specializing in offense can be defeated than those specializing in defense. Mm. That's how I recommend raising your levels. I feel like I really did something here. Now I get to feel accomplished and happy, and everyone here got useful information and was happy. Level grinding truly brings happiness to the world. Are, are you trying to kill us? Prince Edwin exclaimed hysterically. I was slightly heartbroken at his reaction, given that I meant well, but perhaps I had been slightly too strict. Maybe it would be best if I helped them myself. Your Highness, I believe that you and your companions will have no problems using with these methods, but perhaps you are scared. I can come along. How dare you make fun of me? Let's go, Alicia chimed in. She's the Demon Lord. We shouldn't be taking anything she says seriously. The boys immediately listened to her words and turned to leave. Being nice sure is difficult. I looked around the dining hall, and the students who had been listening in turned their faces to avoid eye contact. I've been so kind and generous. How is my reputation not skyrocketing right now? I decided to listen in on everyone's whispers. Aren't monster summoning flutes dangerous? Even a member of the Knight's Order would be at risk using one. Do you know of any dark-type dungeons? I didn't even know something so horrifying existed. That's probably where she came from. Do you think she's planning on taking the prince there to kill him? She wouldn't do that, or would she? It might not be totally impossible. Oh, this isn't good. The students had started to grow more comfortable around me, but now we were back to square one. And with this, I will be ending this recording, and we'll continue chapter 2 later on, because I only have like 10 or so minutes left of my lunch, and I would like to eat some crackers. Put some food on my tummy before I go about doing things. But thank you all so much for being here. You're all awesome. If you want to help support me, check out my Patreon and Ko-fi. Also, thank you to my Patreon and Ko-fi supporters, Diamond and Micah. Y'all are awesome. I have commissions available on Ko-fi and on Fiverr. I also, if you want to get some of my artwork on stickers, you can check out my Redbubble. And I have published a couple of books as ebooks that you guys can get. I published them originally through Smashwords, and so yeah. So you can find my stuff through that account, which I believe is all in the link tree. So yeah. So everyone, have a lovely day. Stay healthy, stay hydrated. All that good jazz. Trying to remember if I forgot anything else, but I can't. So yeah, bye-bye.